Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sam, and today I'm going to be doing the 25 bookish facts about me. I don't know what this is. I guess it started out as a tag like years ago, but it's the 25 bookish facts about me videos. Obviously, I am still new here on BookTube, and you guys don't necessarily know like a whole lot about me. Obviously, I was not tagged. I just wanted to do this. So, I made these facts, I made a list of these facts about a week or two ago, and since then, some of the facts have changed, but you know what, I struggled to get 25, so we're just gonna roll with it. And also, side note, we're in like a different location than I normally film because I am also about to film a book haul, and I already took all my books off of my shelf, and I don't want to put them all back and then take them all down again. So, that was fun. Okay, why am I being like crazy today? I don't know. Without further ado though, let's just get into the questions. The facts. Number one is that I fell in love with reading because of the Percy Jackson series. Percy Jackson got me into reading. I obviously had like read as a kid, like I read a series of Unfortunate Events, Harry Potter, books like that, but Percy Jackson just, you know, it took me all the way into becoming obsessed with reading. And also, shout out to 2020 because we're getting the adaptation that we deserve. My favorite genre of books is fantasy, but my number two is contemporary. Usually young adult contemporary, but I also do read adult contemporaries every once in a while. Those are mainly the two I read. Like, I'll read other genres, but it's usually a fantasy or a contemporary that I'm picking up. Okay, so number three is kind of embarrassing. I don't know. If you saw my BookTube newbie tag, you know what it is, and that is that I had a BookTube channel when I was 13, 14 years old, and yeah, not much to say about that. I am now 24, so this is 10 years later that I've started this channel. Yeah, it was super cringy. We're really glad that we had a glow up, that I am no longer as cringy, hopefully, and all is right in the world now that I'm older. I am a physical reader and an audiobook listener. I do both, but more often than not, I am listening to an audiobook while following along physically. So I never DNF a book. That's not to say I don't, but whenever I DNF a book, it's not like, oh my gosh, this is so bad, I'm DNFing it. It's, okay, this book is, it's something, and I'm just gonna put it down, and then like, maybe I'll pick it up in like a day, and then that book just sits there. And then it never gets picked up again. I just kind of move on, but it's not like a conscious decision where I'm like, okay, DNF, done. When I physically read, I know I'm not the only person who does this, but I feel like it's still a sort of weird thing to do, but maybe I'm wrong. Please let me know if I'm wrong because I would like to feel better about myself. When I'm physically reading, I use the bookmark to track what I'm reading, like to underline the sentence, the line. Makes it a lot easier for me to follow along. 10 out of 10 would recommend. It just makes reading a lot easier. We're out here working smarter, not harder. Is that the phrase? Ooh, okay. So this is one of those ones where I wrote these facts a few weeks ago, and they have since changed. But the fact was that I do not annotate my books. Well, I tabbed my first book, and it was the greatest experience of my life. I, more often than not, am drinking coffee or tea while reading a book. I don't know if that has to do with me in a reading sense, maybe just more as a person in the sense that I'm always drinking coffee or tea. I'm just obsessed. Going off of that then, I cannot eat while reading, but not because I'm like afraid of it getting my books dirty or anything like that. I mean, I guess I am, but it's more of just the sense that if I'm eating, like I've tried, if I eat and read, I end up just eating and not reading, and my one-track mind goes right to the food and not to the book, and I can't do that. I am always carrying a book around with me when I go somewhere, and 9 times out of 10 when I take it somewhere, I don't pick it up. Also, by 9 times out of 10, I really mean 10 out of 10 never end up picking it up unless I'm at like a waiting room for a doctor's appointment. Love that for me. I am definitely a hardback over paperback person. They don't get ruined as easily. They look better in my opinion. I prefer series over standalones. Do not get me wrong, I will read a standalone, but I always just end up wishing it was a series because I get so attached to characters. It's really hard for me to let them go. In that sense, I prefer a series. The more the merrier for me. Quantity over quality, haha, you know what I mean. I did not read in college. I went to college for 4 years and I did not really read like anything. The funny thing is though that I would always go to the library, usually like rent out 10 plus books and never read them. But I always wanted to, I just never had the time. When I was a kid, my idea of a fun night was going to the library. I would just beg to go to the library and I could spend hours in the library as a kid. I'm embarrassed that I included this as a fact. I am trash for Sarah J. Maas. It's just a fact of life at this point. Nothing else to say. This has changed in the past like few months, but I used to be able to only read 1 book at a time, and now at this point I'm usually reading 2 or more, and it's usually that I'm reading 1 fantasy and 1 contemporary at a time. I tend to not buy a lot of books. I usually only buy books if they're a part of a series I love, or if they're by an author that I love, or if I've already read them. Yeah, I usually only buy books if I know I'm gonna like them, or if they're really cheap. So going off of that, my next one is that I am a bargain book shopper. 99% of the books that I have are secondhand copies from like used bookstores. Yeah, I mean, don't get me wrong, I do buy new books occasionally, but they're just so much more expensive and I cannot afford that. It's not the lifestyle for me. Yeah, bargain book shopper. But like, not often. But also I'm going to be posting a book haul with like 30 plus books. Whenever I am solely physically reading, 99% of the time there is music on in the background, whether that be like ambiance, like storms, rain, coffee shop like ASMR stuff, I like that, or film soundtracks, or classical music. Love. Cannot do anything talking though, or anything like with words. Can't do it. Can't do it. I tried to like watch booktube in the background. Couldn't do it. It has to be ambiance or classical music, but I love it. The experience is great. I often then like associate that song with a book and it just, you know, it's really wholesome. I'm a fan. I love to cook and I love to listen to audiobooks like while doing like tasks, but I cannot listen to audiobooks while cooking. I don't really know why, but I end up not being able to pay attention at all to the audiobook. And I always just end up going back and like having to re-listen to the whole thing anyways, so I've since stopped listening to audiobooks while I cook, even though you'd think it would be like this perfect experience, and I just cannot do it. So this might be an unpopular opinion, not sure. I am so indifferent towards maps in books. It literally does nothing for me. I have tried reading a book and they're like mentioning the town they're going to that's like 30 minutes away and I'm like, oh, let me check the map. And then I'm like, okay, this still means nothing to me. Like, I'd rather just get it from the book of them being like, it's 30 minutes away rather than looking at the map. Yeah, I don't hate them. They just do nothing for me. I do not read summaries before picking up a book usually. I usually like to go in to a book based on recommendation alone or based on like maybe if I know like one major plot element, and that works for me. I enjoy it that way. I feel like summaries like spoil you in ways that like, yeah, you think it's not a spoiler, but like it is. Crescent City, House of Earth and Blood. This summary spoils you. Like, I did not know about the spoiler until I read it, and I was like, oh my god, that's crazy. And then I read the summary and I was like, wait, it's in the summary? Like, other people knew this going into the book? I don't read summaries. I love adaptations, film adaptations, TV shows, I don't know what else there could be, but I love them even if they suck. I don't know, I just eat it up. I think it goes back to the franchising thing and just also the fact that I like get obsessed with stuff, so like the more the merrier. Even if it sucks, you know, at the end of the day you can like kind of hate watch it. Like I'm usually not that kind of person, but like also I love being that person sometimes. Hate watching can be fun. If you watch something and you're like, this is so different than the book, sometimes it's like a therapeutic experience. I enjoy it. That's just me. The one thing that I really will not watch though is the Shadowhunters TV show. That is just, yeah, no. I tend to not ask for books for gifts. I really want to tell them a book I want to read, but I am like afraid to, and I don't mean to sound ungrateful, but like I'm afraid they'll get me either an edition I don't want or they'll get me the paperback, and I'm not about to be like bougie and be like, hey, can you give me the hardback version? Because that just like sounds like I'm not trying to be that guy. I'm just picky with my books. Okay, so it is later, and I don't know if you can tell, but the angle's probably different. And I never made a 25th fact. I thought I had 25. I was wrong. Backstory. I am a huge crier. I don't know if that's embarrassing. It's not. But like in movies and certain songs and stuff, I just cry. But books tend to not make me cry as much. But there are 2 books that made me cry, and I'm going to share them with you. It's not really spoilery that they made me cry. They just did. Clockwork Princess by Cassandra Clare. This is the series finale of the Infernal Devices, and I bawled. And then Crown of Feathers by Nikki Palpretto. I don't know why I just got super emotional during this book. There's actually a vlog up. I think it's my first weekly reading vlog that I have, where you can see me read this, and I might be crying in the video. But these 2 books made me cry, and they're the only books to ever make me cry. And I just let the tears come down. Let the tears come down. Hilary Duff? That's not the word. Like, I know that. I changed it and make it myself. Let it wash away my sanity. Alright, so I hope you guys enjoyed this video. I just wanted you guys to get to know me more. I learned a lot about myself from making these facts, because at first I was like, how the heck am I gonna get 25 bookish facts about me? And then I did, and I kind of learned about myself, and I hope you guys did too. Well, I hope you guys have a good day, evening, night, wherever it is that you are, and stay safe out there. I'll see you guys in my next one. Oh my god, I need a haircut so bad. I hate this. Who can relate?